This is a 2015 Hyundai Sonata hybrid. I don't work on hybrids like ever, but things are evolving. Hybrids are going to be a common theme, and well, I am a mechanic, so here it is. The code that I wound up having was P0A as an alpha 78. The complaint was car stalled, check charging system came on, and basically went into a limp home mode. When I got the vehicle, the main battery, well, the auxiliary battery in the trunk was dead. Didn't want to start up. Well, the key wasn't recognized. Let me just give you some information about that key thing, because the key wasn't recognized. There's a slot inside the vehicle where you would put the key if it's not recognized, right there. So you just slide it in there. This is the message I was getting. Yeah. Key not detected. Locks and stuff didn't work. Didn't know nothing about this car. Had to slide it in here. To get it to recognize, so I could now be able to activate the vehicle. All right, now after like an hour trying to figure out what was going on, where would I put the key at? Close this door. The car was essentially in a limp home mode. Once I got it started, it didn't want to go anywhere, and it rapidly, and when I mean rapidly, it rapidly drained that battery. So the car would start. This is the starting circuit of the vehicle. You have the starter generator. It's the hybrid starter generator. HSG is the abbreviation for it. And I remember, well, I'll take that back. I have worked on hybrids before, Chevy. I remember seeing one of these on those vehicles. So when you go to the stop start process, the vehicle will shut down. This starts the car up, and it doubles as an alternator, or the generator as it's referred to. So this generates the AC signal. Naturally, this is just raw voltage. AC signal goes into the inverter, converter, AC to DC converter. And this unit is supposed to convert that. It's also supposed to take the DC voltage in the back, convert it to AC to activate that driver motor. So this has a couple different units inside of here. This does quite a bit. Like I say, it inverts and converts. It takes the voltage and stores it. It's essentially a capacitor inside of there too, to be able to drive that motor, electric motor, in between transmission and engine. So this is the driving component for that. So this has a very integral job. So I digress. I want to try to give you as much information as I can. So what happened? Car wasn't charging the battery. With my symptoms, being that the car was lethargic and felt as in a limp home mode, and I had that P0A78, it would start the engine, but it would not drive. So you would start it up. It'll start up just fine from the starter generator, but it wasn't charging. Now I can look at the voltage in my computer and see that it was producing about 12 volts. When I rev the engine up, it will make 14 volts, but I still had that code. Logically, from what the directions stated, I followed directions to try to diagnose this. I went through my scan tool and tried to do a resolve relearn. Basically, what that means is that generator and that motor has to be in sync, so it'll know how to operate. The resolve sensors are, I don't want to call them a revolutionary sensor, because they're not. They're in a fixed position, and when the rotor rotates, it develops a AC signal, and that gets interpreted through this unit also. So it needs to take that information and determine the position of those rotors. I tried diagnosing those, and the sensor for that, the resolve sensor is going to be in the back right there. It's like where a crank sensor would be. So I went through this harness here and tried to diagnose it. I did check powers and grounds. It was fine. Being that I had that code for the motor, it was stating there was issues with the driver motor. This also has a resolve sensor integrated in the starter generator. I took my oscilloscope, tried to get a sine wave, but I don't know what the hell I was doing. And I just got basically tiered voltage off of different wires. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of a bust. Maybe I should have put it on hertz. I'll try to have to learn that in another day. So being that the voltage at least matched, you know, I had values on the resolve sensors, I still wound up concluding that the inverter's bad. Now the directions did state to do a test from here. This is where the this cable goes to the driver motor. You pull this out, lift that, pull it out, and you check with the ohm meter each pin inside to the ground, either here or to the chassis. This is grounded. There's a ground strap right there. So you would make sure this unit, the unit wiring harness from here going to the driver motor, isn't grounded out. If it's not grounded out, pretty much, you know, you likely going to have issues with this unit here. But I swear in the directions it stated to change the transmission, see what happens. If it don't work, then put the old one back in there, replace the inverter. If that don't work, put it back in there, do a resolve recalibration and see what happens. If it worked, then you know you're fine. So it's pretty much like shoot a part at it. The only reason why I isolated that I need to replace this inverter was the simple fact that it didn't store energy in the capacitor, because the direction stated from the safety aspect, when you disconnect the fuse in the back, let me show you where it's located. Here's the fuse here. Lift this tab up, pull it out so you can service it. So when you pull this out, put it back in there because I want to show you some stuff. So when I disconnected the fuse, monitored the data, and I want to say I forgot what, I think it was the hybrid battery control model, but well, in here in the converter is supposed to show the voltage value, and it dropped. In this case, it stored it and dropped, but with the old unit there, oh god, I got tooling everywhere. With the old unit, it didn't store any energy. So I'm like, the wire's fine, it's not grounded out, shorted out. Unit wasn't shorted out. I wound up just checking the values from the unit to the casing also, see if there was anything shorted out. It wasn't shorted out on that one. And it didn't store voltage. The resolve sensors that I checked had common voltage, but I checked them wrong. Take that with a grain of salt. And I still had a check charging system. So I was like, you know what? I'm going with this unit here. Now, logically, that code is related to the inverter all day. Replace the inverter. And because something could happen with this, where there's a broken connection, or it's probably shorted out inside of there, it's causing some issues. The hybrid motor did not work. Like when I try to drive it, it would not drive in hybrid. It would force start the it would force start the gas motor with the old unit in there initially, and it will just check charging system. Okay, so now that I got the used unit, this is the incorrect unit. The connector doesn't fit. It's not the same, and don't necessarily know why. I'm gonna call and order another one, but being that this connector don't work, I can't check the starter generator, so I got to order another one and get the appropriate one to be able to check. But I'm confident that this is going to work, because now, unlike the other one, the hybrid motor works. So I can drive on EV, move the vehicle on EV with this in here. It'll work just fine. I just can't check the starter generator. The other thing that I thought about logically, the why said, you know what, it's not a starter generator problem, because the customer wanted to initially replace the alternator, and I'm like, that don't sound right. Reason why I suspected it was going to be the inverter was the fact that the starter generator works. If that starter generator works, then it's producing, this is sending out power to command that starter to work. In turn, being that it's rotating and it worked, it should have sent voltage back to get converted to DC volts to charge the battery and whatever else need to be charged up. So just trying to go through a process of the elimination and deduction here. But if that works, if you spin an electronic motor, it's going to make AC voltage. If it goes out to operate, then it should be coming back in. And this right here was not able to convert that AC to DC. So that's again why I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and change this. And I wish I had more of a definite way of showing you how to properly diagnose this, but I can show you some PID data and you can compare it with yours when you go through your scan tool. So let me pull that up. Cut this key on here. Oh shit. Oh gosh, the power steering started working. So the EV right now is working. So right now I can put it in reverse. It backs up. Oh gosh, it fell down there. I can put it in drive and it'll move. Before it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't. I can put it in drive, it'll move. So yeah, it works. Let me get logged in here. There's the only code that's coming up now in the motor control unit, the MCU. Let me see if I can get this off. You're gonna have to ignore that code. I'm gonna see if I can get it. The only thing that's coming up now is obviously the generator. Yeah, P0A78. So assuming that there's it could, well, I don't want to get tangential, because if there's a broken connection or something with that generator, that could cause that could be an inverter thing also. But when it's running, you'll get that check charging system like I was getting from the starter, not from the starter, but from the motor. Let's go to live data. So again, I wasn't, where is it at? Where's the resolve sensors? Drive motor phase current. So this is the working one. This is what this is what you'll see. Don't have any hybrid starter generator because it's not working. It's not hooked up. So some of it may not be relevant. Driver motor resolve counter. Resolver malfunction counter. Let's go back. So inside this MCU, there's the motor and hybrid starter resolve calibration. You'll have to calibrate those two. I'll do that when I get the new one. Let me go back out. I swear I went to the battery management system. Let me go to HCU because that's encapsulated in that unit also. There's no codes, live data. This is what that looks like. Where is, we got the state of charge. So there's the PID data for that. I wanna, let's go in the battery management system so I can talk about the inverter of data. So I can tell that motor's working now because before I only had a 40% state of charge. Now the EV motor's working, is using that battery. So there's the battery DC. And this temperature, auxiliary battery. So there's the inverter capacitor voltage. Let me cut the car on, then it should get an influx of voltage. There's the influx of voltage there. All right, it engaged. All right. So I cut the key off and back on. So it's holding the voltage. It hasn't dropped or anything. Now it dropped. But the other one, it just stayed at 15. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference or not, but that's what wound up happening. Being that this is the wrong one, more than likely I'm going to have to, I got to take it out anyway. So this is going to be some basic reverse engineering of what I got going on here. Because it's a lot of information inside of here. All this information in the hybrid, the battery control. I said the hybrid battery control. I said it right. Where am I at? Where am I at? Yeah, the battery management system. Most of the information down there is unnecessary, but I was looking for something to correlate it with the inverter, and if it got any type of feedback from that inverter, and it did. So I got to put the old one back in there, and I'm just going to throw it in there, and I'll look back at that voltage, because again, that's what I use to correlate or to deduce the fact that I need to replace this, because again, that has a capacitor in there. If it's not storing any energy, then obviously something's wrong with the capacitor, and it's not being able to convert the voltage from AC to DC. Something's wrong with that. So that's why I wound up replacing that. So I think I got everything I need, but I'm gonna put the old one back in there, show you what I had going on, and go from there. All right, I got the old one back in there. Let's see what happens. It'll start up, watch. So it starts up. Unlike the other one, it'll go into EV. Let me see if I can get this thing to stay put. Let's go to motor control unit. So right now it's making 14 volts, which is interesting. Let me see if there's any trouble codes. It'd be fun if it just started working out of nowhere. Yep, so there's that code P0A78, and then I had the P0C17. Let me clear them out. Usually that light should be going off as far as indicating a problem. So we got energy flow. Is it charging? That's interesting. Wow. Let me see if I can do a generator position learn and see what happens, because that's interesting. That code is no longer there. 30 to 80%. I know I got 36%. Let me see. Let me see if it'll go through the process. Oh shit! I did not mean to do that. I guess it's supposed to be running. Let me see what happens. Okay, it's not. Yeah, that's the code right there. That's what was coming on before, so it was a failure. Let me try clearing the. Yep, so it stopped charging. Come on, focus. Let me clear the codes out. Focus, come on here. Clear the codes. Alright, go back here to special feature. We gotta look at live data too, so I'm gonna definitely do that. Yep, nope. Making 14 volts. Once it, yeah, test failure. Let me go back. Yeah, and the voltage dropped too. Okay, same problems. Let's go to live data. And I'll literally have to pull up both of those together. The previous data I pulled up earlier, I'm gonna have to pull that up because it's a lot that I'm not gonna be able to remember all this stuff. See the anomalies. You see link voltage, inverter link voltage. We're gonna go back to the battery control module and look at that value again and see if anything changed. Because as soon as you hit the key and go into the on position, it should, start showing like 240 volts. Let's go back. So it was in the motor control unit. Let's go to HCU, hybrid control unit. Look at the live data in there. Just compare it. So this is the bad unit. Let's go to, I want to go back to the hybrid control unit, or the motor control unit shortly. Look at that. So I got 30%, available discharge power, battery management. Because I just want to look at the voltage, inverter capacitor voltage. Let's look at that right quick. I'm going to compare the voltage because okay, it went up to about 270. Okay. Let me shut it off. Okay. So it held it, and it's actually going, okay. So I guess I was incorrect. So it did hold it a little bit. Okay, it's fine to be wrong. Hybrid control unit ready. Start signal. I wonder if it's because of they just recommend replacing those items because there's really no. It's probably like a processing issue because it's not like we'll be able to look any detailed information of how it gets converted, you know, like from AC to DC, besides, you know, looking at the alternator up here, because right now it's charging. MCU. I still got to check engine light. So again, the one big thing that, there we go. One big thing that also led me to replace it was the fact that it charged up, like it wanted to work and it just failed. So it had the capabilities of doing the conversion from AC to DC. It just couldn't sustain it. So that, I mean, that's what, that right there is what really provided a little bit more confidence in replacing this unit, because it can do it. It's just something that is internally wrong with the hybrid power control module, hybrid power control unit, that just gave me the okay to pull the trigger and replace this unit. So dry phase route. But maybe I'm missing something. If y'all, if you're a lot more familiar with how hybrids work, man, definitely, you know, chime in and say something, because, and even then, we do have malfunction counters that didn't populate, so it wasn't an indication that there was bad information going into the unit. It's just obviously how it takes it in, perceives it, and deals with that information. So yeah. But hey, look, I'm gonna replace this. I'll update the description with the final resolution with this repair, but it made a real significant change when I put the new unit in there, even though the hybrid starter generator, even though the connector didn't work, it was able to move. Unlike now, when I automatically hit it goes in EV mode and it automatically wants to start up because it detects a fault. So the other one I didn't. Well, let me do this. In all fairness, what if I disconnect the HSG wire? Let me see what happens. So let's pull this off right here. Pull that out. And let me see if it allowed the hybrid motor to work. No, it's not working. Back in park. Try it again. Put in reverse. Yeah, it's not doing anything. Wait. Try it again. EV mode and drive. Yeah, nothing. It felt like it wanted to go, but then it just disengaged. Let me try it one more time. EV mode and drive. Yeah, nothing. I'm gonna try clearing the code out. Let's just clear the code out just for shits and giggles. And we'll see what happens. Okay, let's try it again. EV ready. Nothing. Yeah, that unit's definitely a shot in comparison to the other one. The other one worked, and I felt real confident about it. So hopefully, you know, the context clues that I'm providing was definitely going to provide some sort of reassurance in regards to replacing that inverter or the hybrid power control unit. I'm gonna call that right. And yeah, so if anything happened, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, had a reassurance of my work, and I'll see you on the next one.